You've been conditioned to believe that there's a world out there, a separate reality made of people, places, and things that exist independently of you. But what if that's the biggest illusion of all? What if there is no out there? What if the entire world you experience, every person, every event, every reflection, is your own consciousness being put on display? You're not in the world is in you. When Neville said the world is yourself pushed out, he wasn't speaking in metaphor. He was describing how consciousness actually creates everyone and everything around you. When you call reality, or what you call reality, isn't external matter. It's consciousness taking form according to your state of being. Every encounter, every trigger, every success, every delay, it's all feedback, showing you what you believe to be true about yourself. And once you understand this, you stop trying to change the outer world and you begin to master the only true point of your power, which is within. In this video, I'm breaking down the illusion of separation and showing you how to dissolve it because it's not true. So you can stop feeling like life is happening to you and start living from the awareness that life is happening through you. I'll share what Neville Goddard really meant, there is no one to change but self, and how to use this truth to shift your relationships, your circumstances, and your entire reality. If you're new here, hello, I am your muse Traci. On this channel, I teach you how to peel back the false layers of programming and limiting beliefs and return to the truth of your being so you can consciously and powerfully create every aspect of your life. So let's get into it. You were born into a world that teaches separation from the moment you arrived here. You were conditioned to believe that power exists outside of you, in other people, money, status, approval, and in circumstances. So believing in separation and that power exists outside of you makes you susceptible to the set of programs that are widely accepted in our society, in our world as well. These programs are based on powerlessness, limitation, scarcity, and lack. But the truth is that none of these things are real. They are, in fact, illusions. And the opposite of these things are actually what is real and true. You have all the power. There are no limitations to you. Scarcity is a lie, and lack doesn't exist. Mystics like Neville have been saying all along, consciousness doesn't perceive reality, it creates it. Neville said the world is a mirror forever reflecting what you are doing within yourself. So we have to break the illusion of separation so that we can free ourselves from this conditioning that was never true to begin with. It was only something we were taught and we accepted as true. Every image you see, every interaction you experience is consciousness looking at itself through infinite perspectives. So when you see something that triggers you, that's not something being done to you. It's your own consciousness showing you what exists inside of you and what is out of alignment with your truth. This is why we have an emotional guidance system to help us identify these untruths. The mirror shows you the things out of alignment and it feels bad so that you can see it, own it, and transmute it. So the mirror principle, let's break this down. Everyone is you pushed out, as Neville called it. Let's break this down in the most practical way because there are still so many people that I see getting this mirror principle wrong. So let's break it down. Think of every person you meet as a mirror of your assumptions and your beliefs. If you carry the belief, people don't value me, you'll meet reflections again and again who seem to not value you until you see the reflection, own it, transmute it, and you transmute it through your own belief system. This isn't about changing external things. You own it, you see it as a belief that you hold, and you transmute it through your belief system. If you hold a belief that love always leaves, you'll keep aligning with experiences that show you that exact belief. And it's not a punishment. It's being shown to you in a loving way, actually. It's being shown so that you can see it, own it, and transmute it through your belief system. This is everyone is you pushed out in action, in motion. This isn't about blame, it's about awareness. And really, it's about empowerment. Because the moment you change your internal assumption, the reflection also must change. It also must reorganize to your new assumption. That's the law. That's the law of assumption. But likewise, when you react to the reflection, when you allow it to reinforce the old belief that was already held within you, you stay in this dreaded loop, and you'll have to meet the same reflection over and over and over until you realize what's going on. And that's when you're here. That's exactly why you're here watching this. You're starting to wake up and you're starting to realize what's going on. And now you just have to apply it. It's not enough to know what's going on. You have to apply it so that you can transmute it and you can break out of these old loops, out of these old patterns. It's enough already, isn't it? When you truly grasp this, relationships become sacred spaces of transformation. You stop trying to control other people's behavior, which never works in the first place. And you start observing the inner stories that keep you repeating these patterns again and again and again. Neville put it this way: there is no one to change but self. To change another, you change your concept of self and then your concept of them. That's creation through consciousness. You don't need to fix the mirror. You change the face standing in front of it, so to speak. So let's talk about now the collapse of the outer world, the out there. Once you stop seeing the world as separate from you, everything begins to feel lighter, more fluid, and more immediate. Because now you understand that reality isn't fixed. It's not one thing. It's responsive. It's responding to what? To you. It's always taking its cue from you. It's an echo of your assumptions and deeply held beliefs. Period. That's it. Imagine holding a tuning fork and striking it. Every other fork in the room tuned to that frequency begins to also vibrate. That's what happens with your consciousness. Your thoughts and emotions are energetic tones that organize everything around you. Everything. So when you shift your state from lack to abundance, from fear to knowing, you don't attract something new. You reveal what was already there, what was always there, resonating at that higher frequency because you've shifted to that higher frequency. So now it's available to you. The outer world rearranges itself, not because you forced it, but because you remembered it was never separate from you to begin with. The moment you change your state, you've tuned into a different reality, a different version of reality that already existed. Creation is finished, remember? Once you experience the truth that there is no separation, you can stop operating from fear. Because truly, how can you fear something that is you? Even if you do encounter something unwanted, it's nothing to fear because it's not separate from you. You know, it's not happening to you. It is your creation. Again, even if it's quote unquote unwanted. You stop chasing validation because you understand everyone is playing the role your consciousness assigned to them. You stop taking rejection personally, just see it as feedback, because you simply see it as feedback and you start to redirect to, this higher alignment. You redirect to what your preference actually is. I'm sure it's not your preference to be rejected. You just hold a subconscious belief maybe that says, I am rejected. Right? But when you start to integrate and start to remember that there is no separation, it's just a matter of choosing your assumption consciously, letting go of the unconscious beliefs and choosing your assumptions consciously. When you live from this truth more and more, this is what Neville was talking about when he taught Living in the End. When you know there is no separation between you and your reality, you start to identify what you want and shift into it. And you shift into that end more effortlessly, more automatically, because you're not stuck in the illusion that something has to change in order for you to shift. That's not the truth. That's illusion. When you occupy the end, the knowing of who you truly are, the world has no choice but to conform. Again, this is the law of assumption. Because the world isn't responding to your words or your wishes or your affirmations. It's responding to your assumptions, your deeply held beliefs. So let's talk about practical integration. I want to give you guys 3 steps, 3 steps for how to practice dissolving the illusion of separation in your everyday life. Step number 1. Observation. When something triggers you, so let's start with the things that are triggering, right? You can do this with everything, but I usually have my clients start with the things that are triggering them so that they don't get swept away into victim mode, right? So when something triggers you, pause and say, this is me, this is showing me a belief that I once held. Is this something that I want to keep believing, or do I now want to let this go? Right? It's a simple question, but it pulls you out of the victim mode and it puts you back into the creator mode, or creator seat, as I like to call it. So step number 2, the redefinition. Instead of they did this to me, again, that's victim, you shift to I experienced this because of my old assumption, and now I choose to believe this. And you fill in the blank with whatever the new assumption is. Step number 3 is embodiment. You step into the version of you who already knows that there is no separation. And this is a moment to moment to moment remembrance. Just because you may have heard this, you may have watched this video, you need to keep coming back to this again and again and again until it becomes automatic. It will eventually, but it may not be after you just remember it and watch a video. So keep coming back to this knowing that there is no separation. And you might have to do that again and again and again and again and again until it becomes automatic. Think about how much time you spent in the illusion of separation, right? Again, we were taught that from the moment we were born. So have some grace with yourself if you do have to practice remembering and embodying that there is no separation. So to do this, we speak, we move, and we respond from that awareness as a practice. You might have to practice it. You might have to, even force it a little bit in the beginning. And that's okay. Just, remember what you're doing here. You may not like everything in your reality, but you stop falling into victim mode when these unwanted things show up. And each time you do this, you collapse a layer of illusion. You consciously choose the assumption you would prefer to experience, and you stop getting swept away into the illusion of your old assumption. You stop getting swept away into being a victim. You're not a victim. There's no separation. And less of the unwanted has to show up in your reality to show you what you are holding within, right? So the illusion of separation is the root of all struggle and of all suffering. But the moment you see through it, you reclaim your power. This is so important, you guys. And if you're ready to go beyond understanding and actually live from this awareness to dissolve the false identity that's been running the show and embody the self that creates effortlessly, then you can definitely come and work with me inside my 1-month transformative coaching program. In this container, I help you reprogram the inner blueprint and dissolve resistance, stabilize the consciousness of oneness. So reality stops mirroring the old limitations and begins reflecting back your preferences, because there is no outside world. There is nothing being done to you. There's only consciousness and becoming aware of itself. And that's what you're here to do, so that you can make these conscious choices. You can visit the link in the description down below if you're interested. I also have a link if you are not sure and maybe you want to talk about it. I have a link there to book a free consult with me. I'll only be able to offer this for a limited time, but if you want, go ahead and click that link and book that call with me now. If you're ready to get going, then there's also a link to just go ahead and sign up. And please hit the like button and leave me a comment on the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.